This Flutter app has a list of notifications, and each of these notifications is on a dismissible widget. If I drag this widget off to the right, it gets dismissed, and this phrase now tells me I have 3 remaining notifications. Notice that when I drag the widget, underneath there's a line of text that gets revealed, and this line of text tells me that I can't undo the dismiss action. Let me show you how to build dismissible widgets just like these ones. We start off with a blank app. As you can see, there's nothing in our app but a blank scaffold. The first thing we will do is create a list of notifications. And before I do that, I will go ahead and minimize this so that we have enough space to see our code. So let's go ahead and create a list here. Now, I'd like to specify that our list takes maps. And this is because inside our list, we are going to put in maps with the text of each notification as well as the icon of each notification. Let's go ahead and do that. We now have our list of notifications, and you can see each notification has an icon in a specific color. Let me change this color to green. The next thing we'll do is add a column inside our scaffold, and in this column is where we'll have the phrase that tells us the status of notifications as well as the list of notifications. So inside the body property, we'll put in the column and this specific widgets. We start with our sized box for spacing. Then we put in a text widget. This is where we will put in the status of our notifications. So let's skip that for now and add another sized box. And finally, we'll have our list view builder, which is going to generate the dismissible widgets for us. Let's start off with the text. I'll create a string here and we'll call it notification status. And this string is what we'll pass into this text widget. The next thing is our list view builder, and this is what will display our dismissible widgets. But before we get into this, I want us to see what our app looks like without the list view. So let's comment this for now and build. And here is our app. So let's go ahead and add the list view builder. The list view builder has 2 required properties, and those are item count and item builder. But before we put in the required properties, I want to specify the shrink wrap property and set it to true. And the reason for doing this is our list view is inside the column. So we need to limit the vertical height of the list view. Otherwise, we're going to have errors when we try to build our app. So now let's move on to item count and let's set that to the length of this list, because the number of items in this list will be the number of items inside our list view. Now let's move on to the item builder and create the function. This function takes a context and an index, and we want it to return a dismissible widget. So let's go ahead and put that in. The dismissible widget has 2 required properties, and that is a key and a child. For the key, we're going to set the key of each dismissible to the text of the notification itself, and the child will be a card that will have the text and the icon. So let's put in the key property first. So this index value will make sure that each dismissible widget picks up the corresponding text in this list. Now let's create the child of this widget, and that will be a card inside of which we will put a container to make sure we have some nice padding around the contents of the card. And then we put in a center to make sure the contents of our card are centered, and then we put in the row, which will now have the actual contents, which are the text value of the notification as well as the icon. So let's do that. Now inside this row, we'll put in first a sized box for spacing, and then the text of the notification itself, then another sized box for spacing, and finally the icon of the notification. Let's do that. Before we rebuild, let's add a semicolon here just to close off this return function, then put in the commas for formatting. Save this, Yeah, we need to fix this key here and wrap this text inside a key. So let's do that quick fix. So we save this, rebuild, and there is our list of notifications. As you can see, we can drag on each of them. And now I'd like us to specify what happens when we drag and dismiss this dismissible widgets, as well as setting the text that shows or gets revealed when you swipe or drag the dismissible widget. Are you enjoying this video so far? Consider liking it and subscribing to this channel. Let's go on. So we'll start with the text that gets revealed when you swipe or drag on the dismissible widget. And we'll do that through the background property of the dismissible. Let's go ahead and specify that. And we'll set this to a line of text that says can't undo dismiss. And because we want to use the apostrophe here, we need to use the / so that we can escape this special character. So now let's save and rebuild our app. Now when we drag on this, we can see that the text gets revealed. So let's center it and rebuild. And now that line of text is centered. The last thing we'll do is set up our app and our dismissed widgets in such a way that every time we dismiss a widget, this phrase changes to the number of remaining widgets. So for that, we're going to use the onDismissed property of the dismissible. We'll add it under the background. This property takes a function. And this function specifically takes the dismiss direction as an input. You can call it anything. You can even use an underscore if you'd like. But for clarity purposes, we'll use this term dismiss direction. But we're not going to use it inside the function. Our function will just serve the purpose of updating this phrase. So we'll use a set state for that, so that each time a dismissible is dismissed, our app rebuilds to reflect the new state of affairs. So let's put in the set state function. And our set state function will do two things. First, it will remove the dismissed notification from this list, so that when the app rebuilds, it does not crash. If it tries to rebuild a dismissible widget that is now dismissed, then we're going to have an error. So the first thing is to remove the notification at the specific index in this list from which our dismissed notification was built. The next thing our function will do is to change this phrase to reflect the new number of remaining notifications. So let's save this and rebuild our app. And now when we dismiss a notification, we see that our remaining notifications are 3 in number. If we dismiss another one, the same thing happens. And this goes on until we have no dismissible widgets left to dismiss. So that's how you build dismissible widgets in Flutter. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below and I will help you out. If you have any other comments, drop them in the comment section as well. And if you have found value in this video, be sure to like it and subscribe to this channel with the notifications turned on so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. This has been the Flutter Coach and I will see you in the next one.